Okay, hello. How are you doing?
Hi.
Hi. Can you say your name and what you do for a living?
Sure. My name is Brian Negrini. I'm an internal medicine physician who spent the last 5 years taking care of patients that were hospitalized. And I spent time in the emergency department taking care of emergency department patients. And just recently, within the last year, I spent time in the intensive care units where needed. Internal medicine doctors are trained to do a little bit of everything. And some people like to take care of the sicker patients. And that's what I've done over the past 5 years.
Cool. So I'm gonna kind of let you take your own lead and tell your story for this, but do you want to talk a little bit about your experience with coronavirus and how you prepared for it, some of your symptoms, and like how you got over it?
So every night from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m., I would drive to Washington. I would put on my mask, and we had hats with little plexiglass in front of it, and a gown and gloves, and take care of 40 to 80 patients that were sick. Some of them had coronavirus, and some of them didn't. But we then didn't have a lot of testing, so we really didn't know who had what. We just could tell from some of the symptoms that they had. So during my time in the intensive care unit, I saw a lot of patients, and I intubated a lot of patients, which means when they stop breathing, which is something unique to the coronavirus that it does to adults, it attacks the lungs, and there's a lot of dynamics that occur, and the lungs just stop breathing. You have to put them on a breathing machine. So you put a tube down their throat into their lungs that breathes for them. And I had intubated quite a few patients. I got started getting tired after 2 weeks, and after the third week, I thought I was just tired. Wasn't having fevers until one Friday morning when at 4 o'clock in the morning, one of the nurses came up to me and said, "Dude, you're sick." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You're sitting there sweating." And I checked my temperature, and it was 105. So I realized then at that moment that it most likely that I got the virus. So I got tested right away. My test came back later that morning, and I was positive. But as soon as I started sweating and feeling febrile and starting to feel sick, I drove home and quarantined myself.
So how did you help the fever during quarantining, and what did you do to stay busy?
Well, there's nothing to do to stay busy, because when I got this, and some people get this virus and they don't even know it. They get sniffles or a cough and it goes away. Some people, like a 17-year-old that I saw in the hospital, came in with a high fever, and 2 hours later I had to intubate him on the hospital floor because he crashed and burned really quick and stopped breathing. I had for 3 days horrible fevers that didn't go away. It was up to 104, 105 every day, all day long. Headaches that were the worst headaches I had. So, like in that situation, you couldn't do anything. All I did is lay in bed, take Tylenol and Motrin. I took a couple other medications that were not specific to anything coronavirus, but something that stopped inflammation. And I think that helped some of the symptoms. On day 4 or 5, my fever broke, and then I just was really exhausted. My muscles were sore. Initially, I had a hard time walking up the stairs in my townhouse because my muscles were so sore I couldn't get up. So I'd have to kneel on the stairs on the way up. About day 6 or 7, I started to get short of breath. Prior to that, I had no cough. I had no wheezing. There was nothing going on. I just had fevers and chills and night sweats, and I had to change my linens 2 or 3 times a night because I would just sweat through my linens, despite Tylenol and all the other medications. And around day 7, I ended up just getting short of breath, feeling like I had some air hunger when I would go upstairs. My muscles were getting a little bit better, but I got short of breath. And so I spent 2 days after that getting really short of breath for 2 days, to the point where I actually got scared. I was lying on my living room floor for a day and a half. I had a breathing machine, which is like people use for asthma, where you put some medicine in it and you take an inhaler. So I had that. I actually had prepared, because I suspected I would get this virus given what I was doing. So I actually had taken one of the oxygen tanks from my own office and had it at home with the nebulizer. And I have a CPAP machine that I used for a full day. And whatever I did, it seems to have worked, because around 2 days after that, I started to get less short of breath, and my fevers were gone, and my muscles started to get a little bit better. And then that was 10 days ago, or maybe even 12 days ago. So I've had a pretty slow course over the past 12 days. I tested so far negative for the virus, the active virus, 3 times, and I've started to mount an antibody test, which means my immune system has recognized the virus and is able to fight it off, and did fight it off. So I'm no longer positive for the virus. I'm still tired. I'm used to working 20 hours a day, and now sitting at my desk for 4 hours a day, I have to go take a nap. So this week is my first week back, now that I'm safe and able to leave the house, but I'm not expecting miracles, because I have a feeling my mind is going to let me think I can do a lot of things that my body's not going to let me do. So I will find out tomorrow, because I'm trying to get back into my old schedule.
Is there anything else you want to add about your whole experience and what you went through the past like 2 weeks?
So my experience is pretty much what I told you. What scares me a lot is that I don't think people are taking this as serious as they should. I just watched CNN before I came down for this interview. 80,000 people in the United States have died. There's 1 million or so cases. 80,000 people. That's kind of like a disaster happening every day. Right now, there's 2,000 people that die every day. So you can't ignore the fact that even if you haven't seen it, or any of your friends have had this, that this is real. So the best thing I can tell everybody is, I had a pretty rough couple days, and I'm a usually tough guy, and I got scared towards the last day of my day when I was laying on my living room floor. Didn't want to go to the hospital, because I had everything in my house that I would have used on myself in the hospital, except for someone intubating me, which didn't get to that point, luckily. So the best thing we have right now is just being safe.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Erica.